taking now to some Cowboys rumors here. And again, follow me on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney for more Cowboys coverage. First up is Demarcus Lawrence, number 34th best player in the NFL. I'll give this one 3 stars. Now, I have railed on the NFL Top 100 list on 2 different shows here because they just have not done a good job. I think that Lawrence at 34 kind of feels about right. Now, maybe he could be higher, but at least the NFL players showed him a little bit more respect than they did guys like Zeke Elliott and Zack Martin. Those were just not good rankings there. You could argue he should be a top 30 guy, but I think 34, knowing that the Cowboys are going to put a lot more, or the NFL players, are going to put more emphasis on quarterbacks being higher, I think 34th is pretty fair for the Cowboys there. So we'll kind of break down the 35 through 31 spots here. A.J. Boye, Tank there at number 34. Kareem Hunt, Clowney, and Matthew Stafford. I love Tank, but I think I'd take Clowney over him right now, so I think that makes sense overall for the NFL Top 100. Also making sense is our second rumor of the day. Tyron Smith, number 39 in the NFL. Now, I think number-wise, this is indeed too low, but I'm still going to give it 3 stars for one main reason. Smith was the number 1 offensive lineman based on the players' votes. Now, he did drop down from number 18 in last year's rankings, but again, we know that these are very recency-biased focused, that the injury played a big role in Smith dropping. So 39, I think, overall is too low pure number-wise, but number 1 among all offensive linemen in the NFL, now that idea I like. Smith was behind Jared Goff, behind Joey Bosa, behind Adam Thielen. Now, you can bet I'm going to take Smith in a pure bubble over Jared Goff and over Thielen for sure. But we know that the NFL players and everyone love the sexy skill position guys, so I'm not going to dock him too much. Number 1 offensive lineman for Tyron Smith, I like that idea quite a bit. All right, next up, will Cedric Wilson make the 53-man roster? I'm going to give it 2 stars for now, but I'm certainly hopeful this ends up being the case. And Sanjay Lal has offered some praise for Wilson early on. He said that he thinks Wilson has picked up the offense better than most of the guys in the room. That's some high praise right there. And Law even said it's kind of at the point where, the Cowboys need someone to run in for a quick route because someone needs a breather or whatever. They trust Wilson the most to run the route correctly based on the offense. That's some good news for Cedric Wilson. I like him a lot. Dante Thompson has played pretty well in OTAs, but I think Wilson is going to give Thompson a run for his money as that go-to vertical threat. Now, Wilson is not the same burner that Thompson is, but he is a deep threat because of the size he brings as a vertical option. I hope Wilson makes the 53-man roster, but it is going to be a tough battle in terms of the actual numbers. Cowboys have a lot of bodies at wide receiver. Wilson is going to have to earn it. All right, folks, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to our new Cowboys Report YouTube channel, the best Cowboys coverage out there. Subscribe today at chatsports.com/CowboysTV. We'll have all of our shows, all of our segments, and a couple fun things for you guys as well. Taking out to number 4 is Dak Prescott, the top quarterback in all of the NFL to build around. I'd love to believe this, but I'm just going to give it the one head. Now, Bucky Brooks of NFL.com on the Move the Sticks podcast picked Dak out of everybody among young quarterbacks to build around, which I love the optimism, Bucky, but I can't sit here and say that I'm going to take Dak over guys like Carson Wentz, injury or not. I still think Dak is going to be the long-term option for the Dallas Cowboys, but you're taking him over a lot of really good under 26 quarterbacks. Carson Wentz, Deshaun Watson, Jared Goff, Jimmy G, Marcus Mariota, in whatever order you want to put them in. I'm not taking Dak over every one of those guys. I think I'd take him over Deshaun, maybe Jared Goff as well. But if I could do a trade right now, Jimmy G or Carson Wentz straight up for Dak Prescott, I'm going to take that trade if I'm the Cowboys. That's why I don't think he's the top quarterback to build around. Even though I do think he is a quarterback to build around, which brings us to our first weigh-in. Is Dak the franchise quarterback for the Cowboys? I know some of you guys out there in the comment section, mostly on Facebook here, not on YouTube, think that Cooper Rush should start for the Cowboys. That's not going to happen. I still think Dak is the franchise guy, but the way he played last year when Smith went down with his injury and without Zeke, it's enough to ask the question and give yourself just a little bit of pause. Next up, folks, we're going to talk about the Adrian Peterson to the Cowboys rumor floating out there, but first, a word from our sponsor, The Guild. Yearly rumor, Adrian Peterson the Cowboys. It's going to happen every year until Adrian Peterson is 50 years old. And I'm just going to give it the one head. I thought about giving it fake news, but maybe there's just a little bit of truth if Zeke gets hurt, for example. Maybe then that's when it could make some sense. But ESPN says that Peterson's ideal landing spot is with the Dallas Cowboys on the premise that he might be better than Rod Smith, which, honestly, I don't even know if I fully agree with that. I think Rod Smith might be a better option as of right now than Adrian Peterson. The Cowboys have shown no interest, and kind of the throwaway line in the article was that Peterson could sell jerseys for the Cowboys. If that's why you're signing players, I don't think you're trying to win right now. So I don't like the idea of AD to the Cowboys. Frankly, I just don't think they need him for what they want to do. The one thing we know about Peterson is he wants to be the guy. Look at all the teams he's thrown out as potential options, the Texans, the Packers. I think he's picking landing spots where he thinks he's the best halfback. Now, that's not always going to be the case. I don't think he'd be the best guy in Houston, for example. But I think that Peterson deep down still wants to be the focal back, and he will not be that no matter what, as long as Zeke is on the team. And frankly, he might not be it with Rod Smith there. I like Rod Smith quite a bit. And they got some decent depth. I think Trey Williams is a guy to monitor. I know how you guys feel about Bo Scarborough, even Darius Jackson as well. So, folks, let me know in the comments section if any of you guys want to sign Adrian Peterson. I don't foresee it happening. I'd be absolutely stunned. I don't think it makes a lot of sense for either side right now as we sit with Zeke fully healthy, and thank God, no suspension looming. Next up, number 6, does Rico not need to be a great blocker to contribute? Yes and no on this one, so I'm going to give it the 2 stars. And I do agree with much of the premise for Rico Gathers, that he admits that, yes, his blocking abilities do need work. He says it's not a strong suit of his game. But he also thinks it's not a reason to not use him, and he cited Jimmy Graham. And I agree with some of what Rico is saying here, because you can find a role for Gathers if you really want to make him into one of your go-to red zone threats, for example, kind of like how Graham was. At the same time, look, Rico is not as advanced as Jimmy Graham is, and the flip side for the Cowboys, they want to run the ball more than any team in the NFL. It's a little tough at times, at least from the Cowboys' perspective, to justify taking Rico if he's not going to contribute as a blocker, because they want to run the football. For the Cowboys, maybe more so than any team in the NFL, they want an inline blocker at tight end. That is something Rico is not right now. Now, if Gathers thrives in the preseason and shows the ability we've seen in 2017 preseason, for example, Cowboys should not let him go. But if he regresses as a passer for whatever reason and the blocking doesn't improve, that's when you see Rico in danger of not making the roster. I believe that there is a role for him. My fear, though, is the Cowboys don't feel the same way. If you guys didn't like that note, I think you'll like this one. How about a Chaz Green trade? You guys in favor of that one? I see a lot of comments saying cut Chaz Green almost every show. But I'm going to give it just the 1 star for now. I just don't think it's all that likely. Todd Archer threw out the idea that Green could be a preseason trade bait around 53-man roster cuts, which would kind of be ideal. Like Chaz Green, as of right now, I don't see him being a long-term fit. Trade him and get something back, right? But what NFL team actually wants Chaz Green? This is not Madden. You can't just throw out a trade offer and get a 6th-round pick back for Chaz Green, I wouldn't think. But then again, Cam Irving got dealt, so I guess anything is possible in the NFL. That's why it's the 1 star. I'd be surprised if it happened, but I'm not going to rule it out as a complete option at this time. So, folks, let me know, what would you accept in a trade for Chaz Green? Would you do it for a Diet Coke and a sandwich? Would you do it to get your laundry off the market for a while there? What would you take in exchange for Chaz Green? Doesn't have to actually be a draft pick. Have some fun with it. Give me some of your best ideas in the comments section. And for those of you watching on YouTube here, subscribe to our new Cowboys Report channel at chatsports.com/Cowboys TV. The best Cowboys coverage out there. We'll have fun. We'll have all our videos, our segments posted there almost every day, and some fun new stuff as well during the season. All right, folks, number 8 now. Will Zack Martin be at minicamp? I'm going to give it 3 stars. It's really almost 3.55, but no rounding up for this one. He has not been at OTAs amid the contract talks, and I don't know what's taking him so long, but that's a whole different topic, and we'll just kind of glance over it. Martin, though, per Todd Archer, though, should be at mandatory minicamp, and I want to make a quick note of this as well, as I've said many times on the show. This is not a bad relationship between the Cowboys and Zack Martin. They're still getting along. It's just that Martin is like, hey, guys, can I get paid already? And the OTAs are optional. And of all the players on the roster, I kind of think Zack Martin is the guy that I would trust the most to not be there. He doesn't need any extra work. He's one of, if not the best offensive lineman in the NFL. He's going to be fine without OTAs. I won't be concerned on this one unless Martin skips mandatory minicamp. One more rumor left for you guys today. Is Jeff Heath set to cover tight ends for the Cowboys? I'll give it 2 stars because I don't really know what Dallas is going to do here. Byron Jones moving to cornerback. He's not going to handle that role this year for Dallas. He's going to focus on playing cornerback. So now it becomes, when the Cowboys play Zach Ertz twice a year, who's going to cover him? And I don't have a great option. And you guys know I'm not always the biggest Jeff Heath fan, but I kind of think he might be the best fit. Xavier Woods is too small. I don't trust Kevon Frazier enough in coverage to have him go up against a guy like Zach Ertz. That almost kind of leaves Jeff Heath, unless you want it to be a Sean Lee or Leighton Vander Esch or Jalen Smith more in zone coverage. So I am very curious to see what happens. If I'm opposing NFL teams, I'm going to try and split my tight end out wide early and often, see who gets matched up against him. It's not going to be as good for the Cowboys at tight end, but hopefully moving Byron to corner overall is an upgrade for that secondary. All right, folks, get your questions in the comments section on Facebook and YouTube for our next mailbag. We know that you guys like that segment. I enjoy doing it, so keep those comments flowing throughout the show and after the show on YouTube as well. We always love having them. And if you guys missed anything here on Facebook, don't worry, we're going to play it again for you guys in just a second. Until then, I'm Tom Downey, and we'll see you next time.